Hey, this is Willie. Got a new tractor in the shop. Did not pay a lot of money for this thing. I'll get into the details on that later. I did not buy this tractor to keep. I bought this tractor for a few parts. I'm going to service it, and then I'm going to put it back up for sale. And I'm not going to ask a lot of money because I will get my money's worth out of the parts I'm going to be keeping. Now, this tractor, I checked the serial number on the engine. The engine is original to the tractor. It is from the middle of 1961, between April and May. And it has the original engine on the tractor. This is actually a pretty nice survivor. It hasn't been messed around with very much. It's got some holes in it, such as a hole here, a hole over there, and then there's a giant kink right here. There's holes in the fenders. The fenders are bent, but the original seat's there. Even the original decals are still back there. You can almost read the one for the gear select. Throttle is still there. It's missing the original key switch, but it's got a push-pull switch on here for the kill, which will work. The battery that was in it, I believe, is earliest date is going to be either 2010, but I'm pretty sure this is 2020. E0 is the date code on the side of it. So I think that's like a 20-year-old battery, I'm pretty sure. 20-plus-year-old battery. It's had the better days. I got a AGM battery in it now. I had to put some new connectors on it because the connectors that were on here were falling off anyway. So that should be happy now. Gas tank was actually pretty clean. It did not have gas in it when I bought it, which I'm very thankful it didn't. That's not rust in there. That's just some fragments of lacquer in the bottom of the tank. And to my surprise, there's no fuel leaks on this tractor. It's actually did not need many major service on the fuel system. I did replace the bracket that holds the bowl in place because the cup was missing on it. And I took the screw off, which it looks like that's leaking. I'm going to have to tighten that back down. I tried cleaning the fuel shutoff valve on the sediment bowl, and I can't really clean it. So just going to have to leave it alone. So I added an inline fuel shutoff. It's leaking a little bit, so I'm just going to tighten that down so it doesn't keep leaking. Not much I can do about that fuel shutoff. If it's going to decide it wants to leak, it's just going to leak. I think I had it. Let me tighten that down. I'll turn you guys back on. So I'm still checking over that sediment bowl for leaks. Little by little, I've been trying to service it. As you can see, I'm draining the engine oil out of it right now, and the oil doesn't look bad either. I gotta tighten the bolt over here for the star generator because it's a little bit loose. Still has the rubber couplers in it. I'm not going to fix those. They aren't coming apart yet. But when I do sell it, I'll give the buyer an option if he wants me to replace those parts or leave them be. Because they might have a later year tractor that has the parts on it that he needs. The fiberglass flex discs for it. Belt gearbox is actually really tight on this thing. There's no side-to-side play, and there's not very much forward and backwards play on it, or rotational play, so it's actually really nice and tight for what it is. I am going to check the coupler to make sure the coupler set screw isn't coming loose, so the keyway walking on that. But I don't think there'll be any problems. As for steering, steering is not great. Most of the steering play is coming from that coupler up there, which would probably require some new parts, which, once again, I'm not going to get into. That is up to the buyer as to what they want to do with that. Only so much I can do with, and keeping the cost down, because I don't want to sell this for a lot of money, and a collector might not have a lot of money. Steering wheel's bent on it too, but I'm actually quite surprised how much is here. I mean, even the belt guards are still on it. Both belt guards. They're not missing. The brakes are still in good shape. Pretty complete. Not bad for 1961. I think I already mentioned I did have to add the muffler to it. Otherwise, I didn't have to add any parts to this tractor. I'm just trying to fix it the way it is. I just added the battery and the grommets, just small stuff. Nothing complicated. But that is a Briggs OEM muffler. Did not have a muffler on it when I got it. That's kind of typical. I am going to take the lights off because they are actually the correct lights for my 1964 Simplicity. They have the switches on them, and the original light would have mounted in the center, so these are not the original lights for this style tractor. I do have to figure out what I'm going to do for hardware as for fixing that. And another thing I want to do is I want to keep these wheels and tires since they're not as badly dry rotted, and I'm going to swap them out with another set with some new tubes. I am going to leave the chains on here, and this does have the plow blade outside for it. I'm going to sell it with the plow blade. I'm also going to see if I can't load up or actually I have something like a 50-pound weight I'll put on the back of the tractor for whoever wants to use it for plowing. That should be more than enough weight to plow some snow. But yeah, there it is. Nice original. This badge is broken on this side, but the badge is intact on the other side. These are really hard to find. There's that hole I was talking about. I'm not sure why they have a hole there, but to each his own. Still has the original oil bath filter on it. So, pretty neat. Lift handle isn't in too bad a shape. Seat's not all cracked. So, a really nice old tractor. Even the PTO is actually in good shape on this thing. Still has the knob on it. It's not bent. It's all there. And these didn't have belt guards on them. All they had was this little piece here to keep the belt from flopping. That's all they ever did have on them from the factory. I might even check to see if my tractor has this piece or not. If not, I might actually take it off for my other Simplicity. But that's neither here nor there. Pretty neat. I wonder if that's the clutch spring. Not sure. Yeah, a little bit of a leak in there. Nothing serious. Pretty clean underneath. Not full of mouse nests. Here's a fuel shut-off I added. And this car has been sitting for like 2 days, and that's all that came off of it, and I think that's just water. It doesn't seem to be leaking fuel other than the sediment bowl, which I've been trying to fix. It's got a valve like this, and you can't really service these valves. They get rust in there, and then that's like a piece of the washer that like retains the packing. There's not much you can do about these when they start leaking. That can be very difficult to try and fix, but usually you can just buy a new one for like 20 bucks, but that wouldn't be original then. That's actually the original sediment bowl on this yet. Don't know about the carburetor. It's probably the original yet. The engine smokes, but it's got really good compression. Even still has the rubber piece back here. Steering wheel has paint on it, but I don't know if that's been repainted or not, or if that's original. I think that's been repainted because I don't think they had white paint in here originally. I think this was chrome on the inside. This was originally chromed as well, but it's all gone. So this is a look over the tractor. Fuel line is a Viton tubing, so that'll last forever. I don't need clamps on that because that stays on really nice and tight. You can see the cracking on those tires. It's not too bad. I do need to loosen up these collars and tighten them up the wheel bearings a little bit because they're a little bit loose. Nothing major. Axle doesn't seem to be too bad a shape. That's hanging in there pretty good. Service is pretty simple on these. I think I've shown it. It's identical to doing an oil change on the Allis-Chalmers 712H in the fact that you have the drain plug on the bottom of this gearbox back here. And then you have your fill right here. Actually, no, that's your fill level. You can fill them through the vent on top. A little bit easier. Takes about a half a quart. Nothing too serious or fancy. I'll put you guys on a tripod and show it running once I finish changing the oil in the belled gearbox and the engine, okay? See a real piece of history going. Okay, I finished changing the oil. Greased everything up. Topped off the transmission with oil, and it's already started to drip out of the axle seals. So it will need some axle seals, but that's kind of typical for these tractors. Everything looks pretty good on it. I tuned up the carburetor a little bit. Changed the oil on the oil bath filter as well. I cleaned that out. So let's fire her up. She's cold right now. Got the choke down on the carburetor. you enjoyed the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And thanks for watching. Have a good day.